Four key factors influence tennis serve velocity, which are technique, specific anthropometric traits, range of motion, and strength and power. The serve is a highly complex motor skill. Youth and inexperienced players with favourable anthropometric characteristics or a greater technical proficiency may take advantage of these abilities to generate faster serves than their competitors. However, as competitors grow and acquire experience, although technique and anthropometrics remain highly relevant, these tend to stabilise. Therefore, some of the main differences in serve velocity of experienced players may be due to their strength and power. The article published in the Strength and Conditioning Journal, titled Improving Tennis Serve Velocity, Review of Training Methods and Recommendations by Joshua Colomar and colleagues, provides recommendations for 4 training methods to enhance a player's strength and power in order to improve their serve velocity. The training methods include conventional resistance training, plyometrics and ballistic training, flywheel-based resistance training, and complex training. This presentation, brought to you by Talking Sports Science, will be a summary of their recommendations for each of the 4 training methods. We will now review the recommendations for each of these in turn. Number 1. Conventional resistance training. Conventional resistance training is a broad category that includes machine-based resistance, barbells, dumbbells, and resistant cables. This type of resistance training has been shown to moderately improve serve velocity and reduce side-to-side muscle imbalances. In terms of exercise selection, both single and multi-joint exercises involving an eccentric and/or concentric emphasis can be used. Loads between 70 to 85% of 1 repetition maximum are recommended. For lifting volume, 3 sets and above of 6 to 10 repetitions with 2 to 3 minutes rest between sets is recommended. This rest interval should be sufficient to ensure maximal exertion in the following sets. In terms of training frequency, 2 to 3 sessions per week is recommended. Moving on to plyometrics and ballistic training. Plyometrics and ballistic exercises are a low-load, high-velocity form of training and are a more serve-specific type of training to improve serve velocity compared to conventional resistance training. Plyometrics are movements that involve a fast eccentric muscle action and muscle tendon stretch followed by a concentric shortening action, rather like an elastic band being stretched before being quickly released. This is known as the stretch-shortening cycle. In a similar way, ballistic exercises are where the resistance is accelerated throughout the entire movement. For example, medicine ball throws / slams and ballistic bench press. In terms of intensity, light to moderate loads between 30 to 60% of 1 repetition maximum are recommended for both plyometrics and ballistic exercise. In terms of volume, 3 sets of 1 to 6 repetitions with 2 to 3 minutes rest between sets is recommended. And a weekly frequency of 2 to 3 sessions is suggested. Moving on to flywheel-based resistance training. Flywheel-based resistance training allows the athlete to accentuate eccentric actions by using inertial kinetic energy that results from the unwinding of the flywheel strap. In other words, eccentric overload is promoted by using the energy stored in the flywheel system after a maximal concentric action when a brief and concentrated braking action occurs at the end of the eccentric phase. The intensity can be manipulated by using different flywheels, as this means different moments of inertia. In terms of training prescription, 4 sets of 7 repetitions with 90 to 180 seconds of rest between sets is recommended, and 1 to 2 sessions per week is suggested to allow for recovery. Information regarding specific inertial loads are limited. However, regardless of the load, it is recommended that athletes resist the inertia during the first third of the eccentric action and then apply maximal force at the end of the range of motion. If the training aims to increase power output, then lower inertias are recommended, whereas higher inertial loads should be used to target force development. Moving on to the fourth and final method of training, complex training. This consists of a heavy loaded conditioning activity followed by a plyometric or ballistic exercise within the same session. Combining heavy loaded exercises and plyometric/ballistic exercises improves power in tennis players. The heavy loaded conditioning exercise is recommended to be performed between 65 and 85% of 1 repetition maximum. An example exercise could be a dumbbell pullover. And for the subsequent plyometric/ballistic exercise, as the aim is to maximize velocity, lighter loads of between 30 to 60% of 1 repetition maximum are recommended, which could be a ballistic bench press. It should be noted, optimal rest times between sets and exercises are yet to be determined. And that concludes the 4 different types of training methods recommended to enhance both strength and power in order to improve tennis serve velocity. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.